By the way, I see a tweet here from someone who sounds like the kind of guy who would call us up about the name of X, and he wrote, "This fight is a joke and a disgrace to the sport of boxing." Don, I do wonder how many people out there who that's their default. I do wonder how much actual time they've spent supporting the sport over the last 15 years.
Well, they might. I mean, if you're, maybe. I brought it up at the beginning of the show. If you're a diehard boxing fan, love it. You could look at this for what it is and think it's a joke.
I will
but
tell
you're
you this.
Probably still happy that eyeballs are coming to the sport this weekend.
But this is, I mean, God, I pray that this doesn't happen. But if Tyson is killed in the ring.
Oh, my God.
No, I'm serious. It could be a death blow to the sport that something like this with a how old is Mike?
58.
58-year-old man, it's sanctioned. Listen, if you want to do a circus act, fine, but somebody sanctioned it. The state of Texas sanctioned this as a legitimate fight. It's going to be an awful look if he's really, really hurt. Just saying. They better pray that it doesn't happen.
God forbid that certainly would be a horrible look. I don't think that's on the table, but yeah, I mean.
Sure. I mean, you love boxing. I love boxing too. But the fact that they let Mike Tyson fight Larry Holmes, not Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali fight Larry Holmes. I mean, that led to his downfall too. I mean, it just accelerated all things that happened to the guy.
Well, but think about it like this, though. Muhammad Ali, here you go. Wow, I'm just doing this math in my head, guys. Think about what Muhammad Ali was like at Mike Tyson's age. That was in 2000. Muhammad Ali was Mike Tyson's age in 2000. He had already been someone who had been clearly debilitated by everything that happened in Parkinson's for years already. Mike is, what I'm saying, Don, is, if you can let me get the word out without you making a slight sound, is that, wouldn't we already know that? Like, I'm not saying, Don, that Mike can't have something bad happen, but, like, he's in fine shape. I don't see why he wouldn't be capable of having. Listen, if he got in with Tyson Fury, to me, that's when we start to say it's a disgrace. Jake Paul is not Tyson Fury.
He's a big man, though.
He's a big man. He's a big man. He's a guy who has 10 boxing matches in which he's looked pretty good against really over-the-hill guys or MMA guys who are not boxers.
How do you think it's going to go? Think Tyson has a chance?
I think that the first round will be very exciting, and the whole world will be standing up in their living rooms thinking, oh my God, are we going to see it happen? And then I think, unfortunately, and I truly hope I'm wrong because nothing would make me happier than a Tyson knockout, I think after that Mike kind of starts slowing down and clenching a bit, and then it's sort of a war of attrition, and Jake Paul probably wins on the cards. That's my unfortunate and boring prediction.
I'm sorry I made a noise, Peter.
But, no, you didn't. Well, you just made it the whole last part without making one solitary noise.
Is that in Atlanta in '96 when he lit the torch?
Exactly.
He was 54 because that was in '96. Everybody can picture that moment.
Absolutely.
In their mind's eye, Susan. Of
that
him
crossed
shaking.
my mind the second I saw it. Yeah.
So that 4 years later, he's 58 years old. So to make your point, but you know what? Technology is different over the last 25 years. Certainly, Tyson is a lot healthier than Muhammad Ali is. I'm with you, Peter. I don't think he's going to die in the ring. But I think you nailed it. There's going to be hope early, and then the age is going to show as the fight progresses.
Let's go to Jonathan in L.A. Jonathan.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Guys, the one thing I'm not going to call and tell you guys or ask you guys to do is to call why you guys call X Twitter X, whatever. Oh, my goodness. What kind of call is that? It's crazy the type of calls you guys get. Well, yeah, Peter, that's the main reason why I was calling. Like, I wasn't sure if you're going to be there tomorrow or Friday, so I wanted your prediction. But now that you gave it to us, I mean, it's crazy that my son is 7 years old, and I always show him videos of Tyson. And now I never thought he was going to see a fight of Tyson. It's funny. Yesterday he told me, oh, look, Papi, Tyson is going to fight. I'm like, yeah, we can't wait. So do you think there's a small chance that Tyson could even, like, humiliate himself, like probably get knocked out by Jake Paul? Or, well, I mean,
I will say, so that's a really good question, Jonathan. in terms of possible downside, because the speculation is we don't know the exact numbers. They're saying Tyson's set to make as much as 20, and Jake Paul, whose company's promoting it, could make as much as 40. Which, by the way, I think is a little bit unfair. But that's
unfair. But he signed the deal with Netflix first.
Right, he and it was his team,
right,
and that made the whole thing happen. So I get it. I just think the amount that Tyson brings to the table here cannot be understated.
You're right.
I mean, Jake Paul's fought many times. You guys have not watched one of them. You're both going to watch this one, and I don't think you're the only two people like that. Particularly as you get into older demos. So Mike's going to make a lot of money, and I'm sure that is the primary impetus for him doing this. I don't think there's a major risk to him embarrassing himself, but because at this point, Mike kind of has entered this weird period with American culture where I think he's just beloved, and if somehow he really got knocked out, it would be uncomfortable at first, and then I can kind of picture, Don, you can kind of picture a year from now him on Jimmy Kimmel making jokes about it and kind of you move forward, but I don't think that's likely. If you guys recall, I don't know that you lose your chin in that way. I mean, we have seen it happen.
Yeah, but we've seen him knocked down, Peter. I mean, he's been knocked down.
But it's so few times. I mean, he was knocked down, of course, and knocked out by Douglas, knocked down twice in that fight. He was knocked down once by Holyfield. He ended the fight against Danny Williams back in 2004 on the canvas, but that was after he torn his meniscus. So he just doesn't have a lot of knockdowns and punishment that he's taken.
Right.
So I'd be surprised. Listen, I'd be surprised if Jake Paul had it in him. But to that point, Mike is 58 years old, and even though he says he's training, he says he's currently boxing. He's sparring 8 rounds a day every day. However, you guys know when the big lights are on, I feel like every time we watch a big fight, the people get way more tired when it's the match versus sparring. So will the pressure affect him? You see him get worn out and maybe susceptible to catching something? Maybe. I just don't think so.
Well, I said this last week, and I stand behind it. If Tyson has a chance of winning, he's got to connect in the first round. I'm sure he still has power. After that, there's a chance he will get knocked down and knocked out. He's 58 years old, and he's going to get tired.
And if it goes on and on, he may just go down.
Paul is a big man. You're going to lean against him and wear him out. And then one punch could knock him over. So I think it has to be done early, let's put it this way, Peter. I don't think this is going to be a decision.
Wow, really? That's interesting because I sort of think it will be. But I could see what you're saying. I mean, that eventually it's sort of wear and tear. And Mike ends up going down, maybe not knocked out in any sort of spectacular fashion, but just a collection of punches, and he goes down. I suppose I could see that. I really hope not.
Let's go to John in Yonkers. John.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. What's up?
Well, I just want to say quickly, Michael, just with the not calling the Yankees game, it's just cue the Justin Timberlake Cry Me a River, but it will be exciting. I'll be there. And then I just wanted to say that, people call in all the time talking about just sports being rigged. As a big sports fan, I don't believe it, but I could see if you're talking about one event, this being rigged, just from the sense of, massive amount of money down in Dallas. If Tyson wins, and, I'm sure you could swing it any way, but if Tyson wins, they're going to keep this thing going for a year. It'll be a whole big next fight. Then you really can't miss it. And, just obviously make a great story. Netflix is all about producing content. There's nothing better for them to have the second fight. So,
I don't hate the take. Since it's a sanctioned fight, I hope that they have guardrails that it can't be rigged. But don't you think, Peter, this is one and done for Tyson?
No, I think that if he performs well, I think they will try to go back in for at least one more.
Wow.
I don't know whether people would say, let's see him and another older guy do one, similar like we saw him with Roy Jones, where they try to get Holyfield or someone like that. Now, listen, if somehow Mike looks incredible and knocks out Jake Paul in spectacular fashion, which I think is not likely, but he catches him, and it's a glorious yesteryear Mike Tyson left hook, and you can feel 100 million people around the world cheering. I guarantee you the top heavyweights of today will try to get the fight with Mike Tyson.
Amazing. Because he's still the one draw.
Because he would be the draw. I mean, guys, how many times have we been on this show and I've talked about that there was an Anthony Joshua fight or Deontay Wilder fight or another, big heavyweight, and the fact of the matter is the casual sports fan doesn't care, but if they hear it's Mike Tyson, guess what they do?